Good afternoon. On behalf of AUVSI, I'm pleased to welcome you to today's webinar, What to Expect When You're Exponentialing. My name is Melissa Bohe. I am the Associate Director of Membership at AUVSI and your host for this next hour. Today's webinar is the second in a membership series running throughout 2023. Our goals for these discussions are first to ensure that our members are up to speed on the association's work, and second, to empower you all to get more involved and help us accelerate that work. Over the course of the series, we'll dive into several different key programming areas, including thought leadership and networking building at our events, the latest research and analysis on uncrewed systems, and certification programs for safe operation. So today, we are providing an overview of XPONENTIAL 2023 coming up in a couple of weeks, what to expect at the event, and some tips and tricks to help you get the most out of your time there. But before we get started, as always, I have some housekeeping items to note. All participant lines will be muted during today's webinar. A recording of the program is in process, and a viewing link will be emailed to all attendees within the next week. You can now view all of our webinars on AUVSI's new learning and engagement platform, AVL. If you are listening to the broadcast and need assistance, please send a note to the webinar leader using the chat feature at the bottom of the screen. And after the presentation, we are going to open up the session for Q&A. So attendees, if you have any questions, you can submit them at any time during the program, but you'll want to use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. But we'll save all of those questions till the end. And just a note that the Q&A button is a different box than the chat, so please submit all those questions using the Q&A feature. So today I'll be joined by a few of my truly amazing colleagues from the AUVSI team. And today, in addition to hearing from me, you'll also be hearing from Keely Griffith, who is our Vice President of Strategic Programs, Kim Piker, our Program Manager on our education team, and Mike Greason, the VP of Industry Development. So let's get started. First, for anyone who is very new, we are going to do a little bit of an overview on AUVSI and XPONENTIAL. So AUVSI is the world's largest nonprofit organization dedicated to the advancement of uncrewed systems and autonomy. We have been around for 50 plus years now, and we are the trusted advocate for policies and regulations that expand the use of these technologies into the defense, commercial, and public markets. And we are regarded by all levels of government as a vital, non-parochial voice of the industry, a driver of public acceptance and deployment of uncrewed systems, and an influential convener of events and education, which leads us to XPONENTIAL, which is the world's premier event for uncrewed systems and autonomy. This year, we are expecting more than 7,500 attendees. We will have 100,000 square feet of exhibit space that will be showcasing more than 550 exhibitors and their technology. We'll also have an educational program that addresses the industry's most pressing technology, policy, and integration issues from a cross-sector, cross-industry, cross-functional perspective. It truly is an unmatched event in the industry. And with that, I will hand it over to Keely.
Thank you, Melissa. All right, there's a quick poll. So if you have a moment, please participate in the poll. Tell us if this is your first, second, third, fourth, fifth time, or you're not planning to attend XPONENTIAL, because then we know if we should work to convince you over the next, I'll say, 40 minutes. So as Melissa said, please begin thinking about those questions. I am happy to share anything from, hey, where are the bathrooms located, to restaurants that we might recommend in the area, and top sessions to attend. But I like to kick things off in talking about XPONENTIAL by highlighting the overall theme, which is the blueprint for autonomy. You have probably seen the emails, maybe even read the website and where this idea or a theme came from. The blueprint for autonomy, when we first started talking about it with our steering committee, we began to think, okay, what comes to mind? And it really is all of these different layers that go into ensuring that these systems are safely and securely integrated, and that we're suddenly realizing the potential of these technologies. So our committee identified what those layers were going to be that needed to be addressed by the community. And these include everything from design, so think about technical development, or even sort of the data management that is going to enable these systems, or the usability of these systems. We're also covering things like safeguarding the technologies and integration hurdles and operationalization, which I think is a word that everyone should say at least 10 times. And then finally, obviously realizing autonomy, how do different vertical markets realize the potential of this technology in their own spaces. The program has a lot of variety, but it also maintains a great deal of depth. And you're going to notice this by the way that we've been able to weave in concepts of data, security, and safety throughout all of the sessions. Structurally, full conference and VIP pass holders have a number of education opportunities, and I'm going to start with the keynotes. The keynotes are really this space to spark new ideas and to get the community excited or raise awareness around different initiatives that are important, or to even foot stomp success stories and build some momentum for the days ahead. So this year on day one, which is the Tuesday, May 9th, we're going to have a very heavy cybersecurity focus for our community. We have Alex Stamos, who is the former chief of security at Facebook. He's also a cybersecurity professor at Stanford, joining us. We'll also have a fabulous panel following that to talk more about cybersecurity and the Trusted Cyber Program. On day two, we'll be covering everything from innovation and global expansion. I want to highlight Amy Posey, who's going to be joining us. She is a neuroscience expert and leadership consultant. So she'll be coming and doing some fun activities with our keynote audience. And finally, we have the acting administrator from the FAA, who's going to be joining us as well and talking a little bit more advanced aviation. On day three, we have speakers like Andy Bush, who is going to come and give us sort of a, we'll say, a crystal ball look at what we can expect over the next 5 years, either from an economic or policy perspective, as well as former Commodore Brasser, who's coming up to us from Task Force 59 to talk more about the integration struggles. So it's exciting about what's ahead. Following the keynotes, we have sessions that are called spotlight sessions. Gonna wait for Greason to thank you to change the slide. Spotlight sessions. These are lunchtime sessions, so grab some lunch, come sit down, there'll be tables for you. And it's really about highlighting concepts that are more broadly interesting to the community. This is going to include everything from ethical AI and cyber resiliency. There's even a fireside chat with Mr. Tim Morrell, who's the Chief Operating Officer at Air Traffic Organization, and our President and CEO, Brian Wynn. And then finally, an overview of the Blueprint for Autonomy white paper by Anna Diedrich. Following the spotlight sessions, we have a quick, I'm going to do a plug here, networking break for those of you with a full conference or VIP pass. It's a take 5 break. There's snacks and coffee. So if you're wondering where that's going to be, you really need to be up in that educational hall to take advantage of that. Then we're going to move into breakout sessions. The breakout sessions are all going to reflect major themes of the program. So whether they are heavy technical and include a technical paper, or policy focused, or even instructional for those that are looking to adopt new technologies into their own operations, there'll be a little bit of everything for everyone. I'm happy to talk about specific sessions during the Q&A time, but one of the things that I want to point out is that we're further emphasizing our international efforts with an international showcase on Tuesday. And then through Wednesday morning, we have a special workshop focused on that. And then our state advocacy efforts are going to be highlighted on Wednesday afternoon breakouts and Thursday morning. We're going to highlight a lot of the things that we have seen in various states. And I think it's going to be really valuable to understand those case studies and applications. Additionally, we are going to be running AUVSI defense track. So if you have a full conference or a VIP pass, you're going to have access to that too. Kim is going to talk about that shortly, but that's Tuesday and Wednesday afternoon. And I'm excited for her to dig in and showcase the participants of that. Outside of the breakout sessions, which there are a lot, I like to show people my full grid. It's exciting to see. I think that it's going to be really valuable. So if you haven't already, download the show app and start looking through and seeing which sessions you want to add to your calendar. The web version is also really great to engage with. Following breakout sessions, we have workshops. This is something that we actually took away from various surveys that we sent out, and we've learned from other events. Learners are really wanting more deliberative educational sessions. So with hands-on learning or collaborative sessions, and some even just really hyper-focused deep dives into specific topics. We believe that these workshops set us apart from other events because participation in these generates deeper connections, meaningful work, and clear takeaways that can be applied to an organization or the industry at large. There's a few on this slide just to highlight some that we thought would be valuable for this audience, but we have 21 workshops in total. And if there was ever a case to come early and participate on Monday, which is our pre-conference day, this is it. We have several workshops, including a Hack Our Drones hands-on session, a CoalRegs workshop that our partners at Johns Hopkins University Institute for Assured Autonomy are leading, and a flight standards workshop that our friends at ASTM are supporting. So if you're wanting to understand what those workshops are, I encourage you to take a look at the website and see what's a good fit. We'll cover a couple other topics that I think would be valuable. The digital flight, where we'll dig in on integration challenges and a path towards routine airspace integration and autonomous flight, overcoming the gap that exists between the designer and the operator, because it doesn't always work like we think it's going to. We have a goods movement, so delivery and logistics, where are we really at? A remote pilot training. So if you're a remote pilot and you're wondering about how to get engaged at XPONENTIAL, we have plenty of opportunities for you. And then finally, if you're worrying about your future workforce, so who is it that you're going to hire? What do you need to be thinking about when you're hiring? We have a number of workforce development sessions and a specific workshop that's going to focus in on that pretty heavily. If you come to XPONENTIAL and you're not engaging in the program, I'm going to say it, you're missing out. So I encourage you to reconsider, take a look at that program, and make the case. And if you need help getting the case made for your leadership to approve that, reach out to me. I'm happy to provide you that language. So with that, I'm going to hand things off to Kim to talk a little bit more about AUVSI Defense and our STIP programming.
Great. Thank you, Keely. Hello, everyone. Again, I'm Kim Piker. I'm a program manager for strategic programs. I like to say that I support the yin and the yang of AUVSI's educational programming, in that I help build out our AUVSI defense programs as well as our STEM programming initiatives. So I'll start by discussing a little bit about the defense program. We do have two events this year. We have one coming up this September. It's going to be in the greater DC area, but AUVSI Defense at XPONENTIAL is a co-located event. It's going to be over 2 days, on Tuesday, May 9th and Wednesday, May 10th in the afternoons from 2 to about 5:30. To build on that theme that Keely was just talking about for XPONENTIAL 2023, which was the blueprint for autonomy, we're going to be looking in Denver for our defense programming at focusing in on the Realizing Autonomy track, but with the primary focus for the defense industry, obviously. So let me tell you a little bit about day one. Day one, our opening speaker is Colonel Danielle Medaglia, who's going to also be talking about transforming the future battlefield. And then after that, we have several presentations and panels that will be all pulling off that Realizing Autonomy for Defense theme. And that includes creating UAS autonomy for low C-SWAP devices, quantitative analysis for autonomous systems, purchasing autonomy as a service, and also a panel on integrating small UAS in the Department of the Air Force's base of the future. So for day two, again in the afternoon, starting around 2 o'clock, day two will have opening remarks by Mark Gordon, who's the president and CEO of Stratum. And then we're going to have two panels. The first is the future of ground autonomy for the warfighter, and the second is Department of Defense efforts for airspace modernization. After that, we're going to hear briefly from book author Daryl Jenkins, who is providing an overview of his upcoming publication, The Global Handbook for Military Drones, which is written with supporting data from AUVSI's Uncrewed Systems and Robotics database. We are closing out day two with a really important and engaging workshop entitled Transforming the Department of Defense's Valley of Death into the Promised Land. If you have experience, this is a personal plug here. I sat in on the prep call for this the other day. If you have experience with DoD budgeting requirements or procurement, please consider attending this workshop. They're going to be discussing the current state and pain points and what's going well, as well as brainstorming future state solutions. And the bonus for this is members of Johns Hopkins Institute for Assured Autonomy, their human-centered design team, are going to be assisting with facilitating this workshop. So I think it's going to be a really valuable and powerful experience for those that want to engage on this topic. And that will be starting around 3:30 towards the end of day 2 of AUVSI Defense. So that wraps up defense programming. And I'd like to talk for a minute about our STEM initiative that we have at Exponential. And this year we're titling it Engineering a Brighter Future. It is 4 days of integrated events and programming that's really bringing together students, educators, and our industry partners to promote STEM education for K-12 students. This year's programming includes the Drones in School National Competition. If you attended last year, you saw them on the expo hall floor last year, and they are coming back this year with even more teams. We also have an international drone soccer demo and US Drone Soccer League tournament also on the show floor, and educator professional development, which is being hosted by NASA and the FAA, and then other various presentations, networking, and expo hall explorations for the students to see all the great stuff going on the expo hall floor. So with that in mind, I am going to turn things over to Mike Greason, who can tell you a little bit more about the expo hall.
Thank you, Kim. Finally, my turn. Save the best for last. Right? I think so. So Exponential is truly a representation of today's uncrewed systems marketplace. You'll see everything from where we've been to where we're going, not only at the keynotes, but then once your education's done, you'll be going to the expo floor to actually touch and see the technology. If you're not already exhibiting, because I know many of our members are. When we created the expo floor, we created destinations that really helps them navigate the show floor to make the most use and the best use of their time while at Exponential. So what you'll find is you'll find 10 state pavilions and 5 international. So that caps out our regional pavilions. And then we also have our technology pavilions. So this year we have 6 of them. And many of them are new. Public safety, composites, cybersecurity. We'll also be highlighting the organizations that have passed the DIU's Blue UAS program. If you're not familiar with that, ping us in the chat. We can answer that what that is for you. And we'll also be launching our Green UAS initiative, which sneak peek, I don't even know if I was supposed to talk about that, but we're going to be talking about the companies that are already starting to go through that program. Green UAS builds on the Blue UAS program to help serve the non-defense drone community. And then outside of that, we have some additional learning. If you didn't get enough off the show floor, we still have some areas on the show floor to get learning. We have the Solutions Theater and the Innovations Theater. And then we also have the Sandbox. The Sandbox is an opportunity for academics and the corporate world to get together, do some strategy, maybe form some additional partnerships on some R&D, et cetera. So it's a great opportunity to foster that relationship between those two communities. And as Kim was talking about earlier, we're talking about the drones in soccer and the drones in school. So we certainly do have those right here rounding things out. And then we also have our RoboNation down here. So there's many things going on the STEM side. One of the things that I have not placed on this map is we do also have outdoor demos. So you can just walk out the entrance and go to the left. And over at the Denver Athletic Club, we have 4 or 5 people that are going to be demonstrating on Tuesday and Wednesday only. So we cut it a little bit short this year just to make it a little bit more concise, but we'll have that there for you. Next, you guys are members, so you have access to the member lounge. It is in the bottom left-hand corner, that green box there. The AUVSI Member Lounge, as you know, is a destination on the show floor, so you can network with other members. There's a certain Adrian on the phone who loves to go there and network with everyone in the lounge there. He also likes to recharge there, but also learn about some of the latest resources that we are creating for our members, so you guys can have an edge in the marketplace. So this year's lounge will feature interactive demo stations, so you can experience what AVIL is, which is our online community for learning, networking, and generating additional new sales. We talked about that a little bit earlier. We also will be demonstrating the Uncrewed Systems and Robotics database. I don't know if you know, but you should. Many of our members get free access to this, so give us a call if you're not sure if you do. But it provides technical data on over 8,000 uncrewed systems that represent or from the air, ground, and maritime domains. We'll also be talking about the Federal Defense Spending Report for uncrewed systems. So each year we compile all this data on the president's budget request and the DoD's budget, and then we analyze it to really understand how much spending is taking place for uncrewed systems in the different branches, et cetera, and then what programs are being funded. And then we also analyze it after the fact. So did they spend all that money there? What seemed to resonate? But our members, like you, get the written report for free. If you're looking to dissect the information and slice and dice it, we do have a data visualization product that has a small fee associated with it. You just help cover the cost of what it takes us to truly analyze all of the data. And you can manipulate it using Tableau. You guys are probably very familiar with what Tableau is. We use it all the time to know what things are coming down the pipe. And then lastly is the Trusted Operator Program. So just making sure that today's drone pilots are operating to the highest standard possible. The lounge also provides you an opportunity to learn more about our advocacy committees. Some of you might actually already participate on them. Some of you may not, but if you're very interested to hear about that, let us know. And then one thing that I didn't mention already is that the Department of Commerce TEP program, which is their International Buyers Delegation, will actually be participating in the member lounge this year. So it's an opportunity for you to meet someone new. And if you're looking to expand your business internationally, there's that opportunity for you. So we thought that the added benefit would be nice for you guys. The next thing is meeting space. So there's a ton of meeting space available. If you're still looking for a meeting room, we do have modular meeting space, which are meeting rooms that are built directly onto the show floor in the top right-hand corner of the show floor. Or if you have an impromptu meeting that comes about and you're not quite sure that it's going to happen, stop by the sales office, which is located in the bottom right-hand corner of this show floor. It's in the lobby of the second level, the expo level. And you can tell them that you would like to rent a meeting space. And we can rent you meeting space. There's a small fee associated with that, but we do rent rooms by the day and by the hour, just depending on what we have available. So stop by the sales office for that. And then lastly is, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the VIP Club. So the VIP Club is one of the opportunities that's not to miss. Even if you've never been, you might want to upgrade to a VIP pass there, because the VIP Lounge offers you an opportunity to meet with others. It allows you meeting room access. So that's what we were talking about, right? It was the meeting space. So do you need additional meeting space that's available? They have that. It also has food and beverage and catering. And when you're there, and if you were wanting to meet with someone, you can bring up to 2 guests into the VIP Club. So there is that. And then the last thing I want to talk about, I guess I should flip my own slide because Keely's not going to help me out here, is the networking receptions. So I would be remiss if I didn't mention what networking receptions are going to be here. I didn't go into too much detail on this actual slide. Please just go to the website. There's an entire information on what each one of these are. But if you're a member that's exhibiting, please remember to come to the exhibitor reception. It's located on the show floor in the Solutions Theater. It will be that Monday from 4:30 to 5:30. Our Colorado chapter is going to be throwing the Colorado kickoff party. That's going to be very special. It's actually at the stadium there, not too far from the convention center. And there is a ticket required for that. So there is a special fee associated. The next one, Keely talked about the Take Fives. If you're a full conference or VIP pass holder, go ahead and go to that. I just keep hearing reasons to upgrade to that VIP pass, but and I was remiss that the chairperson's reception is held there. So if you do upgrade to a VIP pass, you get access to not only the lounge, but also the chairperson's reception there. And then lastly is the Uncrewed Brews. So you guys remember, so all of you are invited. This is the AVSI member and chapter reception that's going to be held in the member lounge. So if you go onto the show floor, take a left, it's all the way there. And that will be at 4:30 to 5:30. And that's where I'm going to be living most of the show. That concludes our presentation today. And I think now we're ready to open it for Q&A.
Yes, thank you, Mike. So we're going to open up for questions. If you have any questions, you can submit them in the Q&A box down beside the chat. So you just type your question, hit submit, and then we'll get it and do our best to answer it. So there's actually a question that I can answer, which doesn't happen very often, but I'm gonna do that one first. So it seems like I know what I'm talking about. So how many companies will be set up with booths on the show floor? We will have over 550 companies represented on the show floor this year. So there's a lot to check out. I also wanted to mention about the member lounge. Question that I got this week is what movie parody posters, laptop stickers will you have at the member lounge? We have them every year, and I'll tell you what they are. Just kidding, I won't. You have to come by and see them. We will also have a limited amount of previous years, like the Unmandalorian and the Safe and the Autonomous Orlando Drift. So that's the idea. Okay, so first up, we have a question. I'm a speaker and I have a complimentary pass. Can I upgrade to a VIP? Mike? Keely?
That I'll answer that. Yes, you can. So if you were given a complimentary pass as a speaker, you may upgrade. I get emailed this question a couple of times, I'll say a week right now. But yes, you do have that potential. So
excellent. And then will we be offering top certification classes at Exponential? Like if somebody's looking to get their top certification?
Yeah, absolutely. And I answered this in writing as well. There are several opportunities. So on the Monday, our partners at Dart Drones are offering their level 2 top certification training with the practical flight assessments the next day on site. So I encourage you to participate if you're looking to get that. For those of you who only have a Part 107 license and you don't have your top level 1, we have an opportunity this year where our partners at Praxis are going to be offering a top level 1 certification audit. So if you're looking and you have your license and there's some other things that you have to bring that are required, they will go through the presentation and then we'll conduct the audit and you'll walk away from Exponential with your top level 1, and that is free. So I encourage you to take part in that. I believe in the chat, they included the links to both of those.
Awesome. All right. So there are 550 exhibitors, and like Keely mentioned, a lot of educational content. Are there any tips to navigating the expo hall and the conference center because there is so much going on? Do you guys have any advice for our listeners?
Greason, do you have advice first?
Yes, thank you for asking. So we've been there before. It's now our 3rd or 4th time. When you walk into the conference center, you walk right through the lobby into registration. Right behind registration is all of the educational sessions. If you keep walking a little bit more to the right, that's going to be the keynotes down 1 level. Where are the exhibits? At the very top. So they're on the 2nd level. You can't miss it. It's really easy. Convention center. I love this floor plan. I love the convention center. So it's very easy. Download the app, pick up a quick guide. The app is available now. We're going to make a few changes to it to make it even more robust for you guys. But go ahead and download that now. I've had mine for like 6 weeks.
And if you're nervous, you haven't been to Exponential before, or it's a new place, you want to know what you're doing, how to navigate the program, everything that's available. Michael Wilbur and I are hosting a session on Monday afternoon from 4 to 4:30 that it's agents at your service. And so we'll be giving all of the tips and tricks for making sure that you can enjoy Exponential and get the most out of it. There will be a second option for those of you not coming in on Monday. So it'll be in the Expo Hall floor at the Innovation Theater at 10:30 on Tuesday morning. So
Excellent. And I just want to say, if you are ever lost or confused, you can stop by the member lounge. We can help you find out where you're going or answer a question. And if we don't know, we can probably text the person that does know. So feel free to stop by there too. So a little bit of a technical question on the VIP. So the VIP lounge does serve lunch, and they're asking that there was a guest restriction in the VIP lounge during meals. Is that the same for this year?
Thank you for giving me a little extra time. I found the answer on the website. Yes, so the meal functions are only available to VIP pass holders, not VIP guests. So there is that restriction at that time.
Yes. Yeah.
And just an FYI, because meeting rooms are important, meeting rooms are booked every morning. So if you need a meeting room for later in the day, book it in the morning because it's going to go quickly.
Yes. And you can bring kests into the VIP lounge for a meeting outside of meal times. Okay. Keely a little bit scooped this question. That's okay. So I was like thinking, if this is somebody's first exponential or maybe their first exponential in a while, what is your like top piece of advice? Like I want to hear all of your top pieces of advice. And I think I'm going to say up front, you can't say stay hydrated or wear comfortable shoes. Those are like the letters in Wheel of Fortune that you get. Those are just there. And now you have to come up with your extra piece of advice.
But that's true. Altitude
It is true.
and sickness. I have to start taking altitude sickness pills 48 hours beforehand because I've reached that age.
I would say make a plan. Don't just plan to show up on site and wing it. I promise you there's so many options, whether it's how many places or organizations you want to visit on the Expo Hall floor, potential people you would want to meet with, or sessions you want to attend. It's just best to plan out your time accordingly. And if you need a travel agent of sorts, then I encourage you to reach out to others that have attended the event or who are true stakeholders of the community, and they could probably point you in the right direction. I'm also always happy to make recommendations.
One thing I like about our members and our industry and Exponential is that our people that attend the event are really, really super friendly. It's easy to meet someone, whether you're in the keynote sessions, whether you're on the show floor. There's even someone on this call that he would be your buddy if you needed him to. And I won't say his name, but he knows who he is.
I thought for sure you were going to say his name. I think you've already said it at least once on this call.
I did, but you might be able to find his name in a chat or Q&A. I've seen it out there.
To build on that, if you see any of us with the AUVSI badges, stop us and ask us. We are happy to help you. We're here to make sure you have a great experience. So definitely reach out to us and use that app, right? It has notifications. You can add in there what you want to see and just go ahead and put that in there so you get those friendly reminders on your phone when you need to get to another room.
I have one more thing that I would add, because when you mentioned the badge, something went off in my head. Our badges this year will say it's exponential. So it'll say AUVSI and MDNA. So our partners from Messe Düsseldorf, North America will be there on site with us. You can stop them as well. They're happy to support.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is our 50th anniversary of Exponential. I didn't mention it because I knew they read the slide, but
yeah, so I think my piece of advice I have also too, I'm gonna also give two. The first one I would say is definitely come by the AUVSI booth because we love to meet our members and just put a face with a name. Even if we've met you on video chat, it's just a different thing being in the same space as each other. So please come by and introduce yourself. And then the advice that I'm giving to everyone, myself included, is to don't miss the keynotes. Like, because I feel like if I miss a keynote, then the rest of the day, everyone's like, can you believe what so-and-so said? And I'm like, oh, I missed it. And I just feel like it's like what people are talking about a lot. So I definitely think keynotes are not to be missed unless you want to feel totally out of the loop the rest of the day. So I think we had another question. Is that right, Keely?
Yeah, and I'm happy to address it. When you're using the app to search for sessions, one of the pieces of feedback that we got last year was that it was really hard to tell which sessions you had access to by badge type. Because for Expo Hall pass holders, yes, you have access to the education that's on the Expo Hall, but you also have access to a couple of workshops that are unique. For full conference and VIP pass holders, yes, you have access to the full conference, but it's just easier to search that way. So on the app this year, you can actually search by badge type, and it'll tell you the sessions that are happening at the time that you have access to. So I encourage you to use that. You can also use the app to search the exhibitor list. And I know, Grayson, if you want to talk more about that, you can, but that's a great way to find exactly where your exhibitor is or those that have technologies that might interest you.
You covered it. Thank you.
Can I jump in with one more thing? When you're visiting Melissa and getting your cool stickers and learning about all the member benefits, stop by and learn a little bit more about AVIL if you haven't heard about it already. I know Grayson mentioned it, but it is a great way to continue the conversations and the networking and the education that we do these 4 days when we're in Denver throughout the year. So stop by, talk to someone, learn a little bit more about it, and we'd love to show you what it's all about.
And I will leave you with this and go back on mute for the rest of the webinar. Is on the website right now. If you go to exponential.org, go to exhibits, and then go to the Expo Hall floor plan, everything that I was talking about has a really complete description right there with some additional information. All the technology pavilions, the regional pavilions are there. But if you go to the exhibitor list that's on the website right now, for the exhibitors who purchased an expanded exhibitor listing, you can actually reach out and contact them now and try to set up meetings if that's who you want to meet with. So there's 150 of them that you can just go and see if they have an envelope next to their name or an expanded exhibitor listing. You can find that.
Excellent. All right, I think we have covered it all, but we are all really excited to see you and everyone else at Exponential in a couple of weeks. I want to thank Mike, Keely, and Kim for all of the wonderful information they shared. I certainly get to work with some exceptional people. Okay, that was the last one. We made it through all the puns. So attendees, you are going to receive a link to access the webinar recording within the next week. And then another exciting new feature that we have is that all our webinar recordings are now available on AVIL, our learning and engagement platform. So when you receive the viewing link, there's going to be additional information about accessing that recording in AVIL. Be sure to check back frequently to see future webinar offerings by visiting our site at aubsi.org. You'll find the upcoming webinars listed under the events page on that website. And if you have additional questions or comments, please email us at education@aubsi.org. And lastly, today's program is copyrighted by AUBSI with all rights reserved. Thank you. Have a great day.